my fellow compatriots, our beloved Iran has been dragged into a devastating conflict, the architect of which is none other than Ali Khamenei and his corrupt, destructive faction. He has driven our nation's economy to the brink of collapse, plundered our national infrastructure and resources, squandered the nation's wealth on developing nuclear weapons, shattered Iran's security, and stolen the sovereignty of the Iranian people. This regime is defeated, teetering on the edge of collapse, and must not be allowed to continue. The time has come to end this ruin and begin a new era for Iran. This is a new dawn for Iran's lion and son. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past few days, I have spoken with people across Iran from every walk of life. An officer in the armed forces, a mother fleeing Tehran, a factory worker from Tabriz, a young woman, activist for the Women Life Freedom Movement. These voices represent a nation embattled but resilient, that is not asking for its freedom, it is fighting for it. From the 1999 student protests to the Green Movement, to the 2017 Dema and 2019 Abanmah uprisings, thousands of Iranians have given their lives in the fight for Iran's liberation. Today, millions of my brave compatriots continue the fight. One of their stories moved me deeply. In September 2022, Javad Haydari was murdered protesting the Islamic Republic's killing of Mahsa Amini. His sister has continued his fight. She's one of the hundreds of activists the regime has arrested and harassed in recent days. When security forces raided her home, she cried out, "Oh God, where shall we go? Where shall we go to flee from your tyranny?" One by one, her neighbors began to respond to her, "We're not going anywhere. They," meaning the regime, "are the ones who've got to go."
I said, "Where are you from?" He said, "I'm from your planet that your Bible calls the morning and the evening star." I said, "Venus?" He said, "Yes, the inside of Venus." I said, "How did you get here?" He said, "I came in a saucer craft which is called Victor 1. I said, "What is your name?" He said, "Commander Valiant Thor." He said, "You call me Val." I said, "Thank you." And how long have you been here? 3.5 years, this coming March 16th of 1960. And what have you been doing here? He said, "I've been conversing with the President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower, and Mr. Nixon, who I met personally some years afterward, and several members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff." He said, "I brought a gift for them. And this gift was in my hands, and I looked into the eyes of Mr. Eisenhower. I said, this information will do away with sickness, disease, and even death in the United States, and then you can share it with other nations." Gave it to the President. President Eisenhower received this information. It took them over 1 year to get back to the commander. He was their guest for 3 years at the Pentagon. And 1 year later, the President came back, met with the commander again, with this information in his hands, shaking his head. He said, "I'm sorry, we cannot accept this information because it will ruin the economy of the United States."
Swisher 1776 posted on X. Alert. No violation to ceasefire agreement. Clock is ticking. 2 hours left. EXX. X alerts. there's no violation, blah, blah, blah. According to Trump, they still have roughly 2 hours to finish up. Donald J. Trump on Truth. Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now. So this was posted 23rd June 2025 at 6:02 p.m. when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful. On the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will, I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, and it didn't, and never will. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. God bless the United States of America, and God bless the world. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America.
Okay, guys. All right, here we go. We have Medbed information. This is the absolute latest updated information, which I got literally about 30 seconds ago. Okay, so the humanitarians plus no more than 10 human dependents, they must be family members, and unlimited animals, okay, can use the beds. So humanitarians, those who receive humanitarian funding, them plus no more than 10 human dependents, meaning close family members, and unlimited animals. Each person will require to sign a strict NDA until the medbeds are disclosed to the public. It's going to be super strict. If a person is not able to keep to their NDA for any reason, they will not be accepted for a medbed treatment. And they'll be under a different NDA because they know about it, because they've been offered. The first high priority person of each humanitarian can be treated immediately after the redemption appointment. So as soon as you come out of the redemption appointment, if you have received humanitarian funds, your most high priority person of your family can literally be walking into a medbed center. Vibrational frequency is also key for the humanitarians and their family members. If they need counseling or pre and post or pre or post therapy, regardless of what that is, the humanitarian will go through it, and so will the family members. No shortcuts, because they have projects they need to start. If you need counseling, you are going to get counseling, whether you have projects or not. Following the humanitarians will be currency exchanges. So people who did a currency exchange but did not receive humanitarian funds, they didn't say anything about their family members, but I assume that they would. I assume it would be the same as the people who did receive humanitarian funds or who do receive. Following the currency exchange people, it'll be then those who know about the medbeds, so in the medbed communities, and then disclosure to the public. Applications for medbed and spiritual counsellor training will be released into the humanitarian community approximately 3 weeks after the redemption appointment notifications. Okay, so humanitarians that have a high priority, so people on their deathbed, people stuck in wheelchairs, people that are dependent on being taken care of and for mobility and things like that, they are high priority. They will basically be done on the same day that you have your redemption appointment. So if that is not you, if you're not a high priority, then your family member will go before you. Now, as they said, there will be no shortcuts. If you need therapy before you get into a medbed, that's exactly what will happen, whether you have projects or not. Okay, there's absolutely no shortcuts. The NDA, they said, is super strict. So if your family member cannot keep their mouth shut or does not have the ability to take time off work or quit work or something, and you're not willing to support them financially, then they're not a candidate for Medbeds, because obviously they're going to change, probably, and they won't be able to go back to work. So if they can't support themselves, things like that, then they're not a candidate for Medbeds. So everything else still applies. Everything else is the same. So yeah, I got that just a couple of minutes ago, literally 30 seconds before I started recording this. Okay, so that's the updated Medbed information, and yeah, all good. Okay, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. If you have any questions, please listen again, because I'm just going to tell you what I just said. Literally, okay? So if you don't understand or you miss something, please listen again. If you still don't understand, please listen again, because if you do ask me a question, I'm just going to repeat what I've already said. Alrighty? Okay, take care, everyone. Okay, bye. Hey, guys. So I got a lot of questions after my voice message, the Medbed voice message. Why would someone who desperately needs Medbed healing not be approved if they can't support themselves? Well, it's just common sense. It is literally common sense. If somebody is at work and they're in a wheelchair, the next day they turn up to work walking, 100% healthy and healed, don't you think that that would raise some very serious questions? If they're under an NDA, what are they going to say? You know, oh, God healed me? They can't talk about how they got healed. They can't talk about why they're now not in a wheelchair. All of a sudden, from one day to the next, they're walking perfectly healthy, nothing wrong with them. If you can't support yourself, or you don't have someone to support you financially, obviously, for some people, they won't be able to go back to work the next day because of too many awkward questions that would put them in very hot water if they broke their NDA. That's why some people would not be candidates for early Medbed treatment before they're rolled out to the public, whether they need Medbed healing or not. Also, some people have very loose lips. Some people's kids have very loose lips, so maybe the kids may not be able to go back to school until the disclosure. You see, there's all kinds of complications when you come to early Medbed treatment before they roll out to the public or disclose to the public. It's not just, I need healing, so I need to get in and be treated. There's all kinds of things that come with using classified military technology that is not disclosed to the public. This is where a little bit of intelligence comes in, a lot of common sense, and a lot of problem solving. So many people just see why somebody could not be healed. It's not fair. It's not right. They need healing. They should go in. But what are the implications of them actually being healed in their everyday life? When the beds are disclosed to the public, it doesn't matter. But using the beds before they're disclosed has a lot of complications. And this is why a lot of people will not be candidates for early Medbed treatment, because they can't financially support themselves. They can't just disappear from their social group. The NDA will be extremely strict, and there will be implications if you violate that NDA. People using the beds before disclosed to the public need to be able to have a plan well and truly before they even get anywhere near a bed. And you will be asked, do you have a plan for after your treatment, since you'll be under an NDA? Can you financially support yourself? Can you remove yourself from your social circle so you don't potentially violate your NDA with awkward questions? These are all things to think about. It's not just about getting in and getting healed and then dealing with problems later. If you don't come up with solutions before your procedure will not go ahead. Now, when the beds are disclosed to the public, that's totally different. You don't need plans. You don't need this. You don't need that. There won't be an NDA. But until such time that they are disclosed to the public, you will need a plan. It's not about denying people the right to be healed. It's about protecting the technology and everybody involved. So if one person misses out on their healing because they have loose lips or they can't go to work, then that person won't get healed. Not until the beds are made public. This is a privilege to use the beds before they're disclosed to the public. It's not a right, it's a privilege. So common sense, problem solving, coming up with solutions instead of the problems is a must. And this is where some bit of intelligence is required and thinking ability. All too often we see in every community, just people in general, they're so focused on problems that they can't see any solutions. In our community, the humanitarian community, we should be seeing solutions instead of problems. So come on, guys, think, use your common sense, think outside the box. It's not black and white. Using the medbeds, seeing the medbeds, being in the vicinity of the medbeds is not black and white before they're disclosed to the public. It's very, very complicated. Very complicated. And it's not about getting people in to be healed. When they're disclosed to the public, yes. Until then, it's about protecting the beds and everyone involved, including the centres, because all you need to do is have one child, someone's kid, go and blab to their friend at school, who then goes home and tells everybody else. Bingo, you start to get 1,000 different phone calls, all wanting to know, and you're under an NDA, you can't even mention medbeds. How are you going to handle that? You need to start thinking about what it actually means to use the beds before the public, because it's not simple. There are 1,000 different moving parts. It is complicated. And if you're not up to it, then don't have your treatment early. Wait until they're disclosed to the public. Guys, there is no time frame between the humanitarians using the medbeds and the medbeds being disclosed to the public. It could be a matter of days, it could be a matter of weeks, it could be a matter of months. There is no time frame. This is why it is so complicated. This is why you need to be able to take care of yourself. There is no time. Okay? It is a day-by-day thing. It might even be a year. It might be 2 years. It might be 2 days. No one knows. All right? They haven't got a projected time frame. It's just whenever they feel it's right to release it to the public. Okay? So I can't help you with times. There isn't any. Okay? Not even my thoughts. If I gave you what I thought would be, you probably wouldn't like it. And I'm not going to give you my thoughts, because then people, every time I say my opinion only, people go and says, Kerrie said, this is it. And it's not it. Okay? So I'm not going to give you my thoughts, because people take it the wrong way. There is no time frame between the humanitarians using the medbeds and the medbeds being disclosed to the public. This is why if you can't stick to your NDA, if you can't take care of yourself, then don't have an early medbed. Okay? It could be a year. It might be 2 days. We don't know. And you won't know until the disclosure of the beds. You won't know how long. Even in your NDA, it's not going to say for 3 months, for 6 months. It'll say up until the time the medbeds are disclosed to the public, and we send you an email or we send you communications that your NDA has now expired. You're free to talk. That's when you'll know that your NDA is finished. Until then, you're not going to know. Okay?
Hey guys, how are you? All right, now you need to remain excited, but remain steady. What I was just told, what I heard, and then I tuned in to get more information to see if it's actually true or not, is highly, what's the word? Don't even know. Incredible, I guess. Amazing, I guess would be another word. Bloody brilliant if this actually happens. What I can tell you is that right now, hundreds and thousands of people around the world with advanced training on medbeds are receiving text messages from military, medbed team, managers, whoever, to get to work, literally being called into work. Now, I was blocked from why they're being called into work, but it's not just America, it's not just Australia, it's India, Africa, you name it, Russia, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, all the other years, everywhere, New Zealand, you name it. People around the world who has already been trained on the medbeds are now making their way to the medbed centres, hopefully to prepare for our healings. Hopefully. I cannot confirm that, but I can confirm that they are receiving text messages from their centres, and they are arriving at the medbed centres. So keep your head on, relax, meditate, make sure you're in a good frequency, do what you need to, and hopefully this time it'll actually happen instead of someone stopping it at the last second. But everything is ready to go, and I would put $1,000, $1 million, that they're all being called in for one final run through of procedures and all of that, the final run through, before within a day or so of actually treating the humanitarians and their dependents. So that is my belief. That is the feeling I get with this information. And I'd put $1 million on it that that's what it is, that they are doing the final checks or preparing to do the final checks to do our healings for us, which means notifications must come before that. So buckle up, everybody. Remain grounded, but excited at the same time and prepared. Remember, you can never be too prepared, only under-prepared. All right, so good luck. And hopefully this time, no one stops it at the very last moment, the very last minute. Hopefully we actually get this done this time. All right, take care, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye.
From Janet Marshall. She's in one of the private groups that I follow. Just wanted to share that LINN confirmed Kerrie-Ann's intel about the RV and her show last night. Only it will be sometime this week and not the 72 hours. Yes! Anyway, she doesn't share that sort of information without it being vetted and confirmed. Simply LINN YouTube. She's a Christian patriot, and she most definitely vets the information that she shares. So if you do go on her YouTube live, she normally goes live Monday to Friday, and usually in the morning your time, something like 6 or 7 in the morning, something like that. If you do go on your live, if you're watching the after, if you're watching it later, she does take about maybe half an hour introducing. She likes to say hello to everyone, and because she's a Christian patriot, she likes to see the messages from people that need prayers, and so she takes a note of the people that she will pray for, and she usually does a prayer at the end of the show. So her show normally goes on for about 2 hours, but yeah, she definitely vets the information. So if she says it's within a week, then it's thumbs up. It's a snake. Stay tuned, folks. I am extremely hopeful I will have some amazing and very positive intel to share, if not sooner. Many things are happening behind the scenes. Say your prayers, please. Next few days was left out.
Driving without a license will soon be completely legal in the United States. Starting January 1st, 2026, this new policy will take effect as part of the Road Access Act, recently passed to reduce pressure on the justice system. Under the new law, individuals caught driving without a valid driver's license will no longer face criminal charges. Instead, they'll receive a civil fine, similar to a parking ticket. The Department of Transportation says the goal is to prevent overcrowded courts and jails from being clogged with non-violent offenses. Supporters argue it's a necessary reform that will help low-income Americans who struggle to access licensing services. But critics, including several state police unions, warn this could seriously compromise road safety. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has already expressed concern about how officers will determine whether someone is trained to drive. Some states are even removing insurance obligations for drivers without a license under specific conditions, which could leave accident victims without protection. The law is already confirmed in 5 states and being considered in over a dozen others. For many, it's a question of freedom versus responsibility. You think this is a bold move toward equality or just plain dangerous? Tell me in the comments and follow for more updates like this.
From Adam Stevens. As we move into Monday, I am praying that the blessings coming to the world are able to be safely realized and moved to the right people. This whole journey has been about who has the right heart and soul to be a beacon of light for humanity. Where are our hearts and minds, and how will we be of service? I pray for the blessings to be realized this week. Amen. I don't always win. Just kidding. Yes, I do. I hope you wake up with love. Love for life. Love for others. And most importantly, love for yourself. This isn't new, it's old. You're not awakening, you're re-entering. You're not learning, you're remembering. Awakening isn't becoming, it's returning. You already were before they taught you to forget. This is re-entry, and it's divine.